And Felix here, and if you thought the debt ceiling was a non-issue, well, Winston has just told me one bit of data that proves that that isn't the case at all, and that we should actually be very, very worried about it. In fact, I put a trade on it for today as well, because we can always make money out of these things. So, of course, none of the following is financial advice, comes straight out of the golden retriever's mouth there, and Winston will round you up at the end of this. So what's going on? Well, debt ceiling, you might be thinking, just another YouTuber making another video on a bit of fear and panic and everything else. That's fair, probably, but not for this particular one. I like to give you some facts. So what's happening? Well, there are two things that's happening. One, you need to understand the history to it, and then the second, I give you the indicator. So first of all, in 2011, we had a debt ceiling standoff quite similar to this one, except it was a lot less debt, so less than half of it. And the Muppets, as I call them, the politicians in Washington dragged their heels so much that we got to a point where the market actually thought a default was possible. Credit agencies cut the US credit rating and the markets dropped 18%. But they dropped it before the credit rating cutoff. It wasn't just purely what the agencies did. You want to see a little bit of Monaco behind me here. So a couple of those old villas standing up there, quite nice. So is that likely? Well, you might think, no, never, the US will never default. Of course not. That'd be ridiculous. But, and there is a but here, as a Bugatti is parked right behind me here. That's Monaco for you. What's the fly in the ointment? Well, there are something called credit derivative swaps. And they're essentially insurance, and Winston's quite good at explaining this. Winston, what is this credit derivative swap? Basically an insurance for the default. Normally a company, you can insure your debt, so if they do default, if they go out of business, you're going to get your money from the insurance product. There are those very insurance products on US government debt, and normally they're pretty cheap, trading at about 20. Right now, they're trading at 100. I'll pop the chart in here for you. So they've spiked like 5x in a couple of days. Why? Very simple. The US cash flow is pretty miserable. What's the US's cash flow? Well, it's tax receipts. The stuff you pay to your government, if you're American. I'm not, I'm here in Monaco. Slightly smug, I know. And that basically means that people are not paying as much tax because they're not making as much money. Incomes are not as high. Businesses are not making as many profits, not selling as much, lower revenue, and so on. And that's the reality. I'll take you up a little side alley here you've probably never seen before. And that means this whole default event could happen much, much, much quicker than people are expecting. And therefore, this is the derelict, dangerous part of town. Just kidding. Derelict houses are probably worth about $50 million each. So what does it mean for you? Well, you can't be as irresponsible as the US government. You can't be just like, I'm not going to pay for stuff. Well, actually, I'm just going to take debt out. I'm going to print 40% extra money. And somehow, by the time I'm out of office, someone else is going to fix it. Which is pretty much the attitude of the lot you elect. You can't do that. So what are you going to do? Well, I think really you should see this as the biggest contrast ever and just say, look, I'm not going to do this. I am going to be incredibly fiscally responsible. I'm going to have so much income, I don't need to worry about debt, and I can pay it all off really, really easily. And that's what Winston and I do as we're standing up here above a bit of Monaco. Some nice orange trees growing behind us. And if you want some help with that, we have an amazing community at felixfriends.org/Patreon of literally thousands of people who have the same ambitions as you. Financial freedom, no or very low debt. There can be good reasons to have debt for investments and so on. And really understand the market, educate yourself, learn every day, enjoy it, and just have fun making money with our investments. And that's really what we're building here. So if that's something you want to join, it's like 50 cents a day to join it. And you can just try it for a month, see if you enjoy it. All the charts from this video are in there, for example, and of course, much, much more. So check it out, felixfriends.org/Patreon. And Winston and I say thank you very much for watching and for smashing that like and that subscribe button. See you on the next one.